name is Destiny and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I hope everyone had a really great new year. This video is obviously going to kick off 2024. I feel like I don't know where the year went. I feel like 2023 just like came and went so quickly. Anyway, so it's the start of a new year. So today I thought I would actually talk about something, obviously, of course, fragrance related because it's predominantly what this channel is. However, I thought that I would talk about more on how to build a capsule fragrance wardrobe. So if you obviously, of course, like fragrances, but you don't want to have like a million and one, which is completely understandable, I think I have some good options on and opinions on how you can just build a small little fragrance wardrobe that can be interchanged from, summer, spring, fall, winter, and like, of course, one that's like special occasion. So if you're interested in seeing how you can build your capsule fragrance wardrobe, please keep watching. So I have two options here. One is obviously more niche, and then one is designer. So we're going to start with winter because that's kind of the season that we're into. So I'm going to go just based on the seasons in terms of like, winter, fall, spring, summer, and then a special occasion fragrance that you kind of could wear throughout the whole entire season, but something that you might want to grab if you want to feel extra special. So I have two fragrances here. So the first one I have here, this is YSL Leap, and this is the third flanker. I will put the name on the screen. So has notes of like saffron. It is spicy, it's warm. I think what I love about this fragrance is that you can wear this every single day or night for winter. So I think it's a really great one if you just wanted to have one in your collection. I prefer spicy fragrances, but maybe for you it might be a gourmand that might be more up your alley. But for me, this one to me, because it has that spice note in it of like saffron, there's lavender, that I think that you could wear this the entire winter day or night and still smell appropriate, or it's just one that I think is a good reach or a good one to have. And there's so many flankers now of the YSL lead line that I think that you will find something that you love, whether it's this one, the original. There's something out there for everyone. So this is one of my recommendations for winter. I also have one of my favorite brands of all time, and this is Mason Francis Kurkdjian, and this is Gentle Fluidity. So this is a vanilla fragrance, this is a vanilla fragrance, but this is a vanilla fragrance that anyone can like, even if you're not a huge fan of vanillas or gourmands. To me, this is kind of like what a vanilla hater would wear, which is a little bit me because I don't love gourmands, but there is juniper in there, there's vanilla. I'm gonna have to list the notes also on the screen, but it's a little spicy, but nowhere near the same spice level as YSL Lieb. This to me smells like you were just always put together. And again, this is one that I feel like you could wear in the daytime or in the nighttime. Anytime I wear this, I get compliments. I predominantly wear this in the winter time. I know it says it's an all-around fragrance, but I kind of feel like it would be too heavy, at least for me, in the spring and summer. So you can also just do this for fall and winter if you didn't want to do that type of stuff. I think this can take you into fall and winter. So if you wanted to splurge a little bit more, this is one that is definitely worth the splurge, and it lasts and projects like crazy, so you don't have to worry about that. My bottle has turned because the vanilla color in there has oxidized, but this is also a really great one that I've had for, I'm gonna say 3.5 years now, and she's still going strong. So I would definitely say test this first because there is a note of juniper berry in there, and if you've never smelled that before, it might not be to your liking, so definitely sample it before you go and buy it. But I think a fragrance that is spicy and warm is perfect for wintertime, of course, but if you don't like that, or even a woody fragrance. So if you don't like spicy warm, you might like something more woody, a little bit more masculine leaning. You could do that as well, or you might want something a little bit more gourmand, I think that Burberry Goddess could be a good one. I think it's pretty generic. It's not anything super special in my opinion. But if that's something that you like in terms of, or even Delina, would I put Delina in winter? I don't know. I think that lychee note, I wouldn't put it in winter. At least not the original Delina. Maybe Delina exclusive if you like that. I think that one, because it's a little bit more powdery, I would definitely put that in the winter. So those are just some little fragrance ideas, some little winter perfume idea that I think would be great in anyone's capsule fragrance. Again, for this to work, you'd have to find what you want your winter scent. So do you want warm and spicy? Do you want gourmand, or do you want something more woody? So whatever your fragrance preference is in that, anything that's more just a little bit deep and darker and warm, I think that would be a great way to have your fragrance capsule wardrobe taken care of for fall, winter, fall, that season. Okay, so for the spring/summer, of course, so I like to kind of have, like, if I was building a capsule wardrobe, I would like to have two fragrances for each season, just so it gives you a little bit of variety. So I'd have one that's obvious. So obviously, of course, depending on your climate, this might be different. So for me personally, when it comes to spring and summer, I do kind of have two very different perfumes just depending on the weather. So in springtime, sometimes I notice that it can be still a little bit cold, but it is warming up. And then in summertime, I like to have a fragrance for those really, really sticky and hot days. So a fragrance that I would probably wear in the springtime would be Ayla Rose by Mason Francis Kurkdjian. I feel like if you're no stranger to my channel, you know that it's my favorite perfume house. This is actually my second bottle. I went through it. Usually I don't go through my perfume bottles, but this is a repurchase. So that's why it's full here. But this is just absolutely gorgeous, and I think it's so fitting for springtime because it smells like a flower garden. It smells like you have just walked through the most incredible and enchanting garden you can ever walk through. It doesn't even smell real. This is what I would think a garden in a Disney film would smell like. It's just like, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's like 500 different roses or 500 different flowers that were used in this bottle. I love this so much. I think this is it's definitely very feminine, very girly, very pretty, and you have to like the note of rose in order to really enjoy and like this fragrance. So if you don't, you might not like it. And this is a very fresh rose. Think about, like I said, the most beautiful, enchanting garden that you've ever walked through, and maybe it just rained. That is what this smells like. And to me, I feel like, because when you think about spring, you think about the flowers blossoming and everything just blooming all at once. To me, this perfume is just absolutely fitting for that period and for that time, which is why I think it's such a great fragrance to have, or something like it. Of course, these are just kind of like suggestions, so it doesn't have to be exactly this, but something floral, or even if you don't like floral, I would say, what would I say? I think a good spring fragrance is to have, maybe not autumn. I think actually Bubble Bath or Lazy Sunday Morning by Replica, by Maison Margiela, would actually, I think, be really great spring fragrance, to be honest, because I feel like they still have that like fresh feeling to it. And I feel like you can also wear that into summer, either one of them. But I know Lazy Sunday Morning is a lot more musky. So I think that would be a really great one to have in the springtime. If you wanted to wear it still fresh and clean, a little skin-like, that would be great as well. But this would be my option if I had to only pick like a few from my fragrance collection, which I would never want to do. But this would be my pick personally, because I like rose fragrances. So if you do like rose fragrances, you could think of something like this, or something, of course, at a cheaper price point that suits your style, but something, in my opinion, fresh. You could think musky. That's kind of what I think about when I think about spring. The other one I feel like is spring, is more spring and summer. So I think this can just take you through the entire season. So this is Byredo, and I love the House of Byredo as well. So this is like, it's fruity, it's juicy, it's bright, it smells fun. I don't know, I smell it and I feel like you could see like I'm having a smile on my face. It smells so beautiful and like a burst of like, I believe there's pineapple in it. It's like a little bit fruity, but not fruity that is in the sense of juvenile. I think fruity in a way that's done so elegantly and beautifully. And oh, it smells so good. I honestly think that you could wear this spring or summer. Like if you just wanted to take you through the whole entire spring and summer season, this is literally the most perfect one ever. Now, I will say that when it comes to the House of Byredo, they do not last very long at all. So that is something to keep in mind. This, of course, you do not have to get this one. When it comes to fragrances that I like, longevity isn't always the main factor of me buying a fragrance because my personal preference is like more fresh and clean. Usually those don't tend to last the longest, but if I'm super in love with the fragrance, then it's something that I don't mind maybe layering like a oil or a lotion or a cream to make it last a little bit longer. But this is an incredible. It smells so, so, so good. But if you do not want this one in particular, there's tons of other ones that you can find. I think that even spring and summer, Eden Juicy Apple by Kayali, I think that would be a really great one. It is, though, a lot more on the fruitier side, so it kind of reminds me of like a Jolly Rancher. So if you're a huge fruity girl and you really like the idea of like fruits in your fragrances, I think that is definitely a lot cheaper than this and smells just as beautiful to take you from spring to summer. I do think it's a bit more of a summer fragrance, but depending on, of course, the weather and things like that, you absolutely can, you know, get away with it, no problem. I think you could even layer um, Kayali, the Eden Juicy Apple with, maybe you could layer that with like Vanilla 28 to give it a little bit more depth in the springtime on colder days. So if you have those two, which I think everyone probably has the small version or big version of Kayali 28. It's kind of like the fragrance go-to, I think, for a good reason. That would be an amazing one as well. Yeah, so this would be one that I would pick for like summer if I really had to pick. However, so for the really, really, really hot days, and I mean, so I live in a country where, we get all four seasons, and some days it is so incredibly hot, just sticky, humid, overwhelming. Personally, when it's those really hot days, I don't even want to smell like anything remotely sweet. So, just my personal preference, I would go for something extremely fresh. And I mean, I'm talking at this point, I would go for my Jo Malone fragrances. That would probably be on rotation. And I'm going to say this again, Jo Malone does not last very long, but I'm obsessed with the house. It is the first niche perfume house that I fell in love with when I first started my whole entire fragrance journey in college. So, although I know that they are colognes and not perfumes, they're my personal favorite. So, I'm always buying a bottle, and it started with wood, sage, and sea salt. And I know it doesn't last. It maybe lasts like an hour or two is usually what I get. Maybe three if I'm lucky. But if that is, yeah, maybe three if I'm lucky. But wood, sage, and sea salt, it just smells like a summer vacation. It smells like you are sitting on the beach, taking in the salt water, taking in the sand, or Earl Grey and cucumber. Those two, even sometimes, and I know this is a really required taste, lime, basil, and mandarin, when it's really hot. Like, I mean, I'm not sure if it's maybe just me, but it's when it's so sticky, I can get very nauseated very quickly by anything that has even the slightest bit of sweetness. So I have to go fresh and I have to go sharp. So those are usually the ones that I stick to. Even English Pure and Freesia, sometimes I can't really do. It has to be sharp, fresh, clean. Bergamot 22 by Le Labo. I wore that fragrance this entire summer. I got this little vial and I didn't realize how much I loved it. And everywhere I went, everyone was like, "You smell so good." So now I'm like, oh, now I have to buy Bergamot 22 by Le Labo for the upcoming summer. Because that was just like, I don't think I reached for anything else. I kept it in my bag. Don't do that. But it was so small, but I kept it in my purse and I was always spraying, always spraying. And it's just, I love bergamot in fragrances. I also have another one from Acqua di Parma. I will list the picture here. And I know that it's so easy to be swayed to buy this and buy that and buy this and buy that. But if you don't like fruity perfumes and you see that there's a fruity perfume trending, don't buy it because you don't really like them. Or maybe try it first before you buy it. And you don't need, like, you don't even need 10, you don't need 20, you don't really need that many fragrances in order to have a fragrance collection that you love. Of course, we all get bored and you want to switch it out, but don't think that you have to have like this and that in order to smell good or, smell amazing. You don't have to have everything under the sun. Personally, I love fragrances. I love talking about fragrances. It's also a huge hobby that I've really loved and enjoyed. So I do tend to collect them and have a lot of bottles. Of course, I wear them. But if that's not where your niche is, don't feel like you have to buy everything. And if something's not in your price range, that's perfectly fine. There's so many amazing dupes and so many amazing perfume brands that don't cost an arm and a leg. So even the bottles I did show you here, you don't have to buy them. It's just the scent profile that I was kind of talking about in terms of finding what you like. But just don't feel like you have to buy everything and learn what you like. So if you know that you're not a person that likes gourmands, you don't need to buy a gourmand. If you like woody fragrances, search for your perfect woody fragrances. If you like fresh and clean scents and you don't really like things that are musky, then you don't have to find that. There's tons of fresh scents that are not musky at all. If you just want to smell like your skin but better and all you want to do is smell like a musky fragrance, or you like Juliet Has a Gun, not a perfume, or electric molecules, if that's more your style, that's okay. I feel like fragrances it's so subjective and it's honestly about what you like and what you enjoy. And sometimes it doesn't matter how popular something is or how much you see it online. If you don't like it, that's okay. There's a lot of fragrances that are popular that I really do not like, or I see and I go, the note's not really that interesting, or I go and I smell it and it's not something that excites me. I'm very lucky to be sent fragrances from different brands, so I get to try it. But there are some things that I get sent that I've seen be popular that I wouldn't actually buy. So even as someone who loves fragrances, there's always something that like I would pass on because I know that it probably wouldn't get much use. And I've done my fair share of decluttering and giving friends and family so many. You just don't have to have everything if you don't want to. And if you only like woody fragrances, that's fine. If you prefer masculine fragrances or men fragrances and you're a girl, that's okay too. There's tons and tons of fragrances I like that lean more masculine that I just think smell so much better than some woman fragrances. So, anyways, long-winded here. But hopefully this video was a little bit helpful in terms of just helping you understand that you don't need to buy everything and anything that I would wear if I had a special occasion. So if I only could pick one for a special occasion, it might surprise you guys, but well, not really considering what I just said. It is a Maison Francis Kurkdjian perfume, but it is not Baccarat Rouge. Okay, it is not. It's actually from the men's section, and this is Grand Soir. So if I had to pick any fragrance where they said you could not wear any other fragrance for a special occasion except for one, what would it be? It would be this because This is just a gorgeous amber fragrance, and I love amber fragrances. And this just smells like a boss, a CEO. Like this is intoxicating. I know that a lot of girls say that this smells more masculine, which it does because technically it's in the men's section on the website. But when I smelled this, when I mean I fell in love, oftentimes Ala Rose and Grand Soir are like tied for me in terms of which MFK, if I only had to pick two, I would keep for the rest of my life. If this was ever discontinued, I would cry. It would be my going out, my special occasion type of fragrance, just because I feel like when I smell it, I'm just like, oh my God, this smells so, like I would follow the person in the room that smelled like this. And it's funny because I was telling my best friend, I'm like, I need to get you a bottle of this because it's so good. And we were talking about like, you know, having him start his little fragrance collection and what he should buy. And I was like, I just want you to, like, every time I see you, I want you to smell like this. Just every time I see you, just smell like this, please. But I would pick this men's fragrance if I only were to pick one fragrance to wear for a special occasion for the rest of my life because it's that good and it's intoxicating and it's warm and it's sweet and it's boozy and it just, I feel like anyone that wears this, just, you have your life together. You can't fool me. You could wear a t-shirt and a jeans and I think you have your life together. That's what it gives me. So this would be it. So that was all the fragrances that I wanted to share with you guys. If you have thought about this concept of having like a fragrance capsule wardrobe, what would be on your list if you only were to pick 5 fragrances out of all the fragrances that you have? If you made it this far, thank you so much for sticking through me. I feel like this was a long one and I blabbered a lot. But make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, and let me know how you like these videos, or let me know how you like this particular video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!